Hey everyone, welcome back to Mining for Mayhem. This is our second episode of the year. This is our first official interview of the year, our first video interview ever, and our first interview in about a year. So welcome back everyone. Hope you're all going to enjoy this. We're here with Jay Walker, independent wrestler. Jay, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to sit down and have a chat with you.
Oh, that's great to hear. I was so glad when you reached out. I'm like, this is awesome.
Right on.
So, you're an independent wrestler trying to make it big time. Obviously, as you stated in one of your previous posts, which got us talking, is COVID's been an absolute bitch, and you're now becoming a YouTuber.
Yeah. So my journey on YouTube, man, I've always been playing around with YouTube, but I really did the full commitment, deep dive into it just a couple years ago. And that's really helped so much as far as the attention awareness of what I'm doing in my neck of the woods in the middle of nowhere in Canada. But again, with COVID coming in, you put it bluntly, is that it really just shut down absolutely everything. So luckily, I've been able to build my platform over the past couple of years and kind of keep some momentum going, keeping an audience around me, keeping me motivated and driven for when things finally do go back to a little bit of normal where I can get back in the ring.
That sounds wicked. So, how long have you been out of the ring for because of COVID?
Our last show, I believe, if I remember right, was February 18th. So it has been well over a year now.
Oh wow, that is a long time. We had I went to a show last year. I was meant to go to a show, the QWA and CQWA Super Show merging together. But obviously, COVID stops that here as well, and it became a huge. Everything shut down.
Right.
It's not like that now. They're going to redo the show in about 2 weeks, so it's been just over a year.
That's awesome to hear.
Hopefully COVID doesn't get in the way of that. So what part of Canada are you from?
Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. So where some of the best wrestlers come out of naturally. But right smack dab in the
Chris
center.
Jericho.
Yeah, absolutely. Grew up watching Chris Jericho and stepped right into the right time, the right company where I got to work frequently with Kenny Omega.
Oh, that is awesome. So
definitely a privilege.
What different promotions have you worked for?
The main one I do work for constantly, they just have the best locker rooms. They really have a great atmosphere, is PCW, Premier Championship Wrestling. Again, just based out of Winnipeg. We do shows at various bars throughout the city over the past, I think it's been 18 years now. Again, just a really awesome environment, a really smart wrestling fan base. So it really challenges you as a wrestler to keep these guys engaged. It really has this underground Ring of Honor kind of feel to it in a way.
Yeah, I was watching a couple of matches just yesterday to try and get a feel for it, and I'm just like, I think I saw one video on YouTube, the 5 moves of Jay Walker, and I'm looking at some of these moves, I'm like, oh man, he's got a variety. Like you've got your figure 4, you've got some moves I can't even remember the names of, and they're just like, what would you describe your moves as? Are you more of a technical wrestler or a high flyer? Because I've seen a bit of both mixed in there.
Right. So when I started my career, I was like 110 pounds soaking wet. I was one of those kids coming in. And so I definitely had a lot more high flying elements. Since then, I've adapted. I love the figure 4, and I really love building my matches around that. So not so much that I'm a technical wrestler, but a lot of my moves, a lot of my arsenal does focus on the legs a lot. You'll notice there's a lot of influence there from Bret Hart as well, being a Canadian wrestler and inspired by the best there is, right? There's definitely going to be a lot of influence from there. And yeah, no, I've definitely got my own set of branded moves, whether it's STO or reverse STO, which I call the follow back because I'm the social media superstar. I've got a TKO, which turns into more of a stunner, which I call the AFK, and plenty more where that came from along the way. Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of high impact moves where you're lifting your opponents above your head, and I'm watching, I'm like, that looks painful. But what's the craziest move you've ever performed?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. Are we talking my backyard days? Or The one that springs to me as a kid definitely was baseball diamond. They have the backstop fence, right? I climbed to the very top. We're talking 20 feet in the air, and jumped and for my patented Shawn Michaels inspired elbow drop, and just flat backed that bump all the way down. That one hurt for a little bit, but in the ring, I've done some crazy stuff as well. Whether it's taking a frog splash through a ladder propped up on two chairs,
God,
diving off of the bar onto a guy hanging out on some ladders. I've flipped off of stages. I've been triple power bombed off stages. Just a lot of influence coming up. I thought that what Mick Foley did, and I know he's very much against using your body as the main focal point of storytelling in a match, but I don't know if it's the backyarding days or what, but I just do have this higher threshold of pain, and when the moment calls for it, I definitely like to kind of make, again, that smart audience that we tend to have just go, oh, okay, like this guy's really hurting right now, and I kind of want to see him make it through this, you know?
That's insane. That diamond drop. What brought that on?
It just seemed like a good idea at the time in the heat of the moment.
So, who's been some of your favorite people to get in the ring with?
Oh man, I've been lucky. I've kind of been in the ring with a who's who as far as some of the biggest names in professional wrestling. Kenny Omega, obviously, having just like started in the business while he was at his peak game, about to head and break all sorts of records in Japan. He taught me the art of storytelling in a way that I think is really appreciated and underutilized a lot on the independent scene. So he's right up there. There's a lot of local guys. I always give shout outs to my boys. You wouldn't hear them anywhere else yet, but man, these guys are so talented and deserve all the world. But Alex Vanna, Leo London, James Beaver, Jackie Lee. Other than that, though, as far as names people would recognize listening to this, man, Juventud Guerrera is a guy that I grew up watching in the WCW Cruiserweight division. It was awesome to get in there with him. I've teamed up with Jimmy Jacobs, and he's an absolute pleasure, too, to get along with and have some fun. The Honky Tonk Man was like my 5th wrestling match ever. And that guy, again, just had all the knowledge in the world on some kid, you know, where his mind is a sponge. And he really taught me a lot about the business as well. Had an amazing, amazing match I recommend going to check out. It is on YouTube if you want to watch it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, no, I've just been so lucky to work with so many guys that have done it all in wrestling. So, yeah, there's a big list of them.
So away from the wrestling scene, with COVID, you've said you've stepped into the YouTube. What else do you do in your spare time?
Sleep.
It's there to do.
Right, man. I'm just driven to make it out of this little bubble. I say it often, but being where we are in Canada, you're really geographically challenged as far as making it a name for yourself in wrestling. You have to drive 6 hours anyway to try to make it to the next promotion, and most of those promotions aren't streaming. They don't have clips up on YouTube. They're just their own little kind of universes within themselves. So this YouTube's allowed me to kind of grow that global audience, which is why I grind at it so hard. I'm constantly, doing new videos for the YouTube. I have some like behind a paywall Patreon content as well that goes on regularly. I'm always thinking, always moving, always the next big thing, and because you just never know what's going to work and what's going to catch the eyes of a lot of people.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Have you been much of a gamer?
Funny story. I used to be as a kid for sure, but I mean, just again, time management and everything, and I just it was hard to keep up with the new systems as well. I jumped from a PS2 to a Nintendo Wii, and then it took me all the way till the 360 of the Xbox. I really am all over the place. I'm not a diehard devotee to any brand, but with COVID, we decided to double down and get a Nintendo Switch, and I have fallen in love with gaming all over again. I have been downloading games left, right, and center, and just devoting like so much of my extra time just to like enjoy what I have right now. It's been a lot of fun.
We have a little visitor here. The little cat has come to join us.
Right
Jumped up on the table.
At least it's your cat, not mine. She's not around right now. It's good.
What sort of cat do you have?
I don't know the species. It's a nice, very, very like fluffy orange white. My daughter named Pumpkin, of course. Yeah, she'll just she doesn't take shit from anyone. She'll just like rub right up in your face there to get her
Yeah.
like pets in for the day. Yeah,
Yeah. My cat does what she wants, and I think we had one cat decide to invade the house, and my cats just shoot it off, and it's like, we ain't having no cat intruders in this house. But she's fluffy, like really hairy and fluffy and grey, so she got named Storm because I was driving home from work one day. I was just about to rain, and I looked up just as I bought this cat. I had her in the car when she was a kid and not named yet, and I looked up, and she looked like a grey storm cloud, so I called her
I
Storm.
like that. That's awesome.
Have you got any other pets, or just the cat?
Just the cat. We've experimented with dogs a little bit. Found out, not really a dog person. It takes a lot more work and time, and we just didn't kind of have that. So we found luckily, some awesome people willing to adopt and take over.
Yeah, and cats are very self-sufficient as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, I can just put food in the bowl. She'll come and eat when she's ready, and
Or let you know when there's not enough in the bowl.
Yeah, I get home from work and she's on the bed, just curled up, looks at me going, "What are you looking at me for? I'm trying to sleep."
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm in the lounge room. You know where I am if you need me.
Yeah.
But she's an adventurous cat as well. I live just down the road from the pub, and I've seen her walk up the road and follow me up the road as I'm going somewhere. I'm like, yeah, have to walk down, put some food in a bowl so she focuses on that before I go out again.
Right.
Or I've even come home one night in the rain, just walking home, and she's come out of this yard about 7 houses down the road. So I picked her up so she didn't have to walk in the rain.
Right.
I've tried to carry her back, and she's like, "No, I want to walk in the rain." So she's walking along the footpath by my side. I'm like, "Bro."
She's stubborn.
Yep, she's an adventurous cat.
Right on.
So you said you grew up watching like Chris Jericho and that. Who else did you grow up watching?
Man, that new generation was such a big deal for me growing up. So Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, The Undertaker, Mankind, Goldust. I had a lot of the old Coliseum video collection. So for hours, I would just watch all the old Manias and all that. So, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, the Ric Flair, Psycho Sid, all those guys, and Jericho was actually kind of on local TV, and they would air some of his Japanese matches. So it was awesome to see him and some of those caliber matches as a local level, and then see him move on to WCW and just eat up that amazing run that he had there.
Have you got a particular match or rivalry that inspired you growing up?
The Shawn Michaels Bret Hart one, building up to the Iron Man match, I would say, just being, I think I was like 9 years old at the time or something like that, and just the boyhood dream, and just running in the snowy fields of Canada, Bret Hart was, and just getting ready for this big match and this big challenge and this big moment. That totally just drilled in my brain. This is exactly what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
So, being a Canadian, I'm assuming the answer is quite obvious here. Who screwed who?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm on Brett's side on that story. I mean, everyone's watched the thousands of hours of documentary time. Everyone's, soaked out of it, but definitely on Brett's side on that one.
I've seen every documentary I can find on it. I've seen everyone's opinion, and I'm just like, I can see where they were coming from, but at the end of the day, Brett got screwed. Regardless of who screwed him, Brett got screwed.
Right.
Have you had the chance to travel much before COVID?
I've done other shows, yes. Mainly Saskatchewan. I've done seminars as far as Alberta. Saskatchewan's 6 hours away, sorry for everybody who doesn't know Canadian geography. Alberta's the next province over, so we did about a 13-hour drive once to do a 2-day seminar with Les Thatcher, who kind of created the workbook on how to create a WWE superstar. They built the system that made OVW the place to go. Lance Storm was there as well. That was a great experience learning under him for a couple of days. It's hard, man. Like just that travel alone makes it near impossible to make a go of being an independent Canadian wrestler full time.
What about overseas? Have you had the chance to, even just for a general holiday, have you been anywhere?
So not overseas, the United States, absolutely. The border's right there. We actually went down, myself and another wrestler, Alex Vanna. We did the trip to Chicago for her first All Out pay-per-view. That was a nice treat, and to get to kind of see this awesome new wrestling community coming together over this.
Mm. What's on your bucket list for destinations to go to?
I mean, long term, the goal is obviously to get some sort of contract, get signed, and make a real living of this, and just continue to build and learn and grow and do what I love doing, whether that's WWE or AEW. I mean, let's talk. But AEW right now just looks like my cup of tea. It's just these young guys coming together with a vision and working together collectively. It's a really attractive place to work right now for a lot of independent wrestlers.
Oh yeah, especially when Cody Rhodes was doing that open challenge, and it was, who am I going to challenge this week? And the fan base essentially chose his opponent.
Right.
I remember that week he fought Warhorse. In the build up to that, it was just everyone was crying out for Warhorse to go on there.
Yeah, absolutely. I put my name into the hat on that one. I actually made a video and got enough attention that whenever Cody was asking, or Arn was asking, or AEW was asking, Warhorse was always the first mention. And if you check and you start counting everyone's replies, I was number 2 or 3 on most of those lists. So,
hell yeah.
This close, but there's a lot in the way with COVID going on.
Yeah. Have you got any overseas destination you'd like to go to, just purely to visit for a holiday?
I'm a big fan of ancient Rome. I think that would be a lot of fun to go and check out and really see some of the historical landmarks there. As far as culture and like Italy, France, I'm a big foodie guy, so like going to check out those areas. Australia, of course, I've always wanted to go. Having a close personal friend there, it would be awesome to go check out the beaches and the culture down there as well. I think it's a lot of fun. Japan is something I'm really starting to sink my teeth into as far as their culture, especially the wrestling side. There just seems to be this little world that seems like so far away yet so close that I would really love to go check out.
Yeah, well, I'm with the culture side of things. Like, we've got all the beaches and the sun and the heat and all that, and for me, it's the opposite. I want to go experience the opposite. So that's why Canada's like on my bucket list, because I just want to go to the snow, and I want to start on the west side, get a car, and just travel through all the territories. Because it's like, you guys call it territories, we call it states.
Right.
Because it's like, and then you've got, I'm familiar with the bottom. Oh my god, the cat's attacking me. We've got I don't know if you can see, she's just down there trying to jump up and attack the Slytherin banner. Yeah, we've got, what was I saying? I want to travel from the west and go to the right side of it, of Canada, and just journey through. Canada for me would be an amazing place.
It's, I've been to most provinces, and it's just amazing how each territory, each province as well, just have their own culture, their own dynamics to them. Like, the west side has the mountains, and they have like a whole beach life too to them during the summers. And then you've got like the central prairies, which is like heavy on agriculture and that farming life, which is where I'm at. And then you go to Ontario, and it's like kind of like a mini New York. It's just this big cities, tall buildings. And then you go to the Maritimes, and there's just this whole like fishing culture. It's amazing how diverse the whole country is.
And it's like you said before, you don't know your Australian geography well. With Canada, it's like, I do not speak for all Australians, but we know the bottom 4 territories. But once you go up to the northern territories, that's where it gets confusing for us.
Yeah, no, totally understandable. It's such a more desolate place, more Arctic frigid temperatures. Like when people picture that stereotypical Canada, that's kind of what you're picturing, is that north side of it. It still gets really cold here to the point where you don't go outside very much. But yeah, no, it gets much colder the more north you go, and much more desolate as well.
if someone like myself were to travel to Canada, where would you recommend we go?
Ooh, it really depends what you're looking for, but I think a great first start would be British Columbia. I think they have so much to offer with the mountains, with the beautiful cities, with the amazing valleys that there's just so much to offer there. But again, it kind of depends what you're going in for. If you're going more for an entertainment and a culture, I would recommend the Toronto area. And I see so many people from all over the world as well that come through. They'll start at one end with some bicycles, and they bike the entire country wide on the back roads just to explore Canada for what it is. It's amazing.
Yeah. So being a foodie, what's one of your favorite dishes?
In case you're not following the Twitter, you should know that my favorite is pizza. I've been going absolutely insane on that right now.
Who doesn't love pizza? What's your
exactly.
favorite? What is your favorite topping?
The Canadian, which I don't even know if you guys get that around, but it's a combo of pepperoni, mushroom, and bacon. It's super simple. It's been around for decades here. That's just what it is.
I mean,
But
you can't have pizza without pepperoni.
no, you can't. But I mean, I'm willing to mix it up. I love spice on my pizza, so like all these new flavor combinations everyone's creating with different cheeses, different spices, and peppers, and it just like sign me up. I'll try any pizza once. It's all good. It's all pizza.
That's chaos. What else is there? What other things get your tongue tingling?
Food-wise, I mean, I'm Canadian, right? So we've got that poutine everyone keeps talking about. Real simple, right? It's French fries, it's cheese, it's gravy on top of it all. It's amazing. As a kid, yeah.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
As a kid, I grew up on that every day for lunch. I would have a poutine, and I'm not exaggerating. That was literally my life growing up as a kid. Just one of those things. It's a great comfort food, absolutely. And that's another thing that's opening up are they're called poutineries. They're like little restaurants that just do poutines, but now they're starting to integrate more flavors and different gravies and different cheeses, and I've got a whole new genre of poutines to play with now. When you go out, it's amazing to see the growth on that. As far as other foods, I mean, a good burger. You can't go wrong with a good, It's
I agree with you there, right? And I work at a burger shop.
Oh,
nice.
Nice.
I work at our local KFC, so
Right on.
good juicy chicken burger. You see all the different varieties coming.
Oh yeah, a good crispy chicken burger with some heat on it, man. Yeah, sign me up on those too.
Chicken and bacon.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm starting to salivate on that. Yeah. Just talking about food.
Go pick up a shift at work.
Oh, yeah.
Grab a sandwich on the.
If you ever come down to Australia, like we're known for our steaks and our Aussie barbecues.
Right.
And the one thing, especially in America, apparently the Americans think our saying is throw a shrimp on the barbie.
Right.
Shrimp is not an Australian term, and we don't say that. We call them prawns.
Right.
And it's a very common misconception.
What was it? It was Crocodile Dundee, I believe, wasn't it? Or that just totally screwed you guys as far as a branding perception to most Americans, I think.
Have you tried Vegemite before?
I have actually. My third grade English teacher, who now lives in Australia, but she would go there very often in the winter months, and she would bring back a lot of the culture of Australia. And so, yeah, they made us try Vegemite, and I have not tried it since. Sorry.
Did you like it?
No, way too thick and salty, and no, it was not for me.
How did you have it? Because that's another thing that people seem.
Ah.
People have it on the spoon.
Okay. If I remember right, and this is dating back quite a few years now, I'm pretty sure we had it on some toast.
That's how you're meant to have it.
Okay.
You're meant to spread it on some toast with some butter. For me personally, as an Australian, I get a lot of heat for this. I don't like Vegemite either. I'm a peanut butter boy, and I get so much heat for it. But a lot of people, when they try it for the first time, they get the jar and they scoop it out and just eat it like that. I'm like, no, that's even worse. No, I'm either peanut butter, Nutella, some nice strawberry jam.
Yes.
Maybe even some just bread and honey.
Right.
What about a Tim Tam? Have you had one of those before?
You know what? That word rings a bell, but I couldn't even imagine what it is.
So it's like this wafer biscuit coated in chocolate,
Okay.
and they come in, I think, 20 or 30 a pack, and you just, maybe even it's 10, I can't even remember. And you just grab them out and you just bite on them. And I actually learned, I think last year or the year before, there's something called a Tim Tam slam. I'm like, oh, what? And what they do, they bite the end off opposite corners of the Tim Tam and
Okay.
then use it as a straw and drink like their coffee or their tea or their milk. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm Australian and I don't know this.
That's wild. Yeah, that's something different.
I mean, maybe that's some culture in different state. Apparently, our states have different accents as well. And I'm like, sure, I can't hear it. I mean, for us, we can hear the accents in America, like the differences.
Right.
But then, I don't think I've heard a different Canadian accent. I think,
I've been told that I have a very thick Canadian accent, but like I don't hear it. The odd time I'm paying attention now, like a lot of wrestlers we have in PCW, we have people from Europe, people from Australia, people from Japanese and Chinese backgrounds. So I've really kind of picked up the differences. So the odd time someone sounds really Canadian, it's like, yeah, okay, I get what you guys are talking about.
well, it's like I can tell the difference between someone from Texas to someone from New York or LA, but I couldn't tell you the difference between someone from Quebec to someone from Montreal. I'm like, or even Toronto. I'm like, yeah, no, I can't hear the difference in the accents.
Right.
So I don't know if there is a difference.
Certain people have a very French accent. There is a big like francophone community, or like just families all over the place. So you do get a bit of that. On the maritime side, there's an accent everyone kind of likes to make fun of, and I think there's a Irish and maybe Scottish influence. So it's this weird combination of Canadian and it's its own little thing. I haven't heard very much of it, but I'm very aware that it's a thing that exists around here.
So what's your plan for the future? What match? When do you know when you're going to get back in the ring?
I mean, restrictions are loosening. Numbers are going down, which is great to see. It's been bad enough as is, and the vaccine's rolling out too, which is great. I think that the plan right now is everyone's going to have their first shot by June, and then hopefully their second shot by the fall. So, hoping for a September-October return of the ring, which would make it about a year and a half wait. But man, I'm just gonna come back hitting that much harder. I'm excited to get things going again.
And are you still the current champion?
That's right. Yeah, Canadian champion. I've held it throughout COVID. I've got a fan, Kim. I'll give her a shout out. That's been keeping track for me, doing an amazing job with that. It's my fourth reign. I'm the first 4-time champion. I'm the longest reigning champion. I've had it for more. I've had the Canadian championship that I have right now for over half of my career, which is insane. I've been wrestling. This is my 10th year coming on wrestling, and I've had the title for over 5 of those years throughout time. I haven't done too bad for myself. Yeah.
I mean, we're saying COVID's a bitch and everything, but I mean, COVID's also the reason why no one's had to defend their championships. So we've got long reigns out of it.
That's the thing, and we were trying to find ways to like get guys together and maybe film some cinematic matches, because that's kind of been the hot topic of pro wrestling during all of this. But just as soon as we would get the idea rolling, things would start shutting down, and we decided it was better to be safe than sorry on any of those kind of things.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, there's COVID in a sense is the ultimate downside to wrestling, but it has brought some upsides. Like we've had so many cinematic matches. Have you got a favorite that stood out?
I was such a big fan of the AJ Styles Undertaker Boneyard match. I thought that was really well done.
That's definitely one of my favorites.
Right. It was very outside the box. I did enjoy the Firefly Funhouse match as well for its storytelling that it had. And then the most recent one with AEW, they had Sting and Darby Allin against Team Taz.
Beautiful.
I thought they did such a great job with Sting in that thing and making him look like $1 million.
That that was so well scripted as well. The
Yes.
only one I have the issue with is the Firefly Funhouse, and I won't finish that off because everyone says it's a Firefly Funhouse match. I'm like, it's not a match. There was no referee. There was no. He started to come out to the ring, and suddenly he's in the Funhouse, and then it was a mess. It was well done for the storytelling side of it.
Right.
But I mean, when you've got the Fiend pinning Cena with Bray counting the 3, I'm like, not even wearing a ref shirt for that match. You can't even call that an official match.
No, it was definitely something very outside of the box, and I'm glad that Bray got the creative control to be able to do something like that and take a risk.
It's given us a lot of variety as well with the whole
That's right.
creative side. And even that Undertaker AJ Styles, that was, pun intended, phenomenal.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Have you got anyone you haven't been in the ring yet that you'd like to get in the ring with?
I'm curating a list sort of month by month right now to give myself something to put out there as far as content. I've already dropped that I would love to work Warhorse. He is the independent wrestling champion right now in the United States. So, and he got the shot at Cody and I didn't. So that's something I would definitely like to go out and prove that I could hang and possibly be just a little bit better than him.
And there's a story there as well.
Absolutely. I love my storytelling. So.
And you stole my shot at Cody. That was my shot. I should have been the one on AEW that night, but you took it from me.
And he didn't even get signed like the rest of them did. So, you know. But, yeah, I know there's going to be some more names rolling out. One name I do love to drop is just because wrestling is so crazy now with all these forbidden doors getting kicked open and whatnot that we keep saying. The one that's always been on my bucket list ever since I was a kid that could be possible because, I mean, we still have Kenny Omega coming to Winnipeg. We've had Don Callis coming and wrestling in Winnipeg lately.
Is Don Callis wrestling?
He used to be. He started out as a professional wrestler in the early and mid-'90s and then transitioned to the color commentator manager through ECW and WWE. But the one that's been on my list, the one that could somehow magically be possible one day if they want to just create a buzz and stir things up, is Chris Jericho.
Ooh, that would be a wicked match.
Yeah,
and even though he's hit 50 years old, he can still go.
Absolutely, yeah.
Are you aware with So I was doing the research as you do with every interview. You try and look up who you're interviewing and get some form of information. Are you aware there's something online about you having a match? Because there's all these e-fed wrestling companies.
Yes.
And I was reading into it, not realizing I was reading an e-fed, but there's this match and this graphic of you having a match on AEW with Darby Allin.
Really?
I saw that the other day and I'm like, I'm looking into it, and so I thought, okay, I'll go onto YouTube and see if I can find it. And I couldn't find it. I'm like, going back to the website, I'm like, oh, that's why it's an e-fed.
Oh,
so
that
must be the match they want to see.
I want to look
versus Darby Allin.
You know what? And that wouldn't be a bad match. I actually put the question out to the people, you know, which 5 AEW talent they would like to see me in the ring with. And Darby was definitely high up on that list. I think that guy has a very creative mind like me. He likes to think outside of the box, and he definitely likes throwing his body through a lot, which is my forte as well. So I think we could do something really fun if it ever did happen.
A nice lights out match.
Yeah, something crazy.
Have you been able to watch much wrestling since COVID's come in?
It's been easier actually for me, just because I do have a little bit more spare time, is that I will sit down and watch a full episode of AEW either that night or, first thing in the morning. With the work schedule the way it used to be, it was very hard to be able to find that time to sit down for the full 2 hours.
Yeah.
I've completely fallen out of love with WWE over the past 5, 8, 10 years. So like I'll get the YouTube clips or whatever's going on in Twitter as far as the talk of what's going on that night. But yeah, no, it's just been kind of straight AEW. I've been dipping into New Japan actually just to try something new. I've been watching the G1 tournaments and thoroughly enjoying those.
See, for me, I don't so much watch Raw and SmackDown, mainly because work, and sometimes I watch it out of habit. But
Right.
when it comes to WWE, for me, it's all about NXT.
Yeah, I used to
And
be like that as well.
I've been loyal to NXT, and then very rarely will I think, no, I'm going to watch AEW tonight. Or
Okay.
for me, the Wednesday Night Wars are on in the morning, so 10 a.m. or when America's, I'm trying to work this out with their daylight
Yep.
savings. They've just gone into daylight savings, or have they
Yes.
come out of it?
I believe they went into it.
Yeah, so they went into it, which means their wrestling shows start an hour earlier for us. So it was 11 a.m. and now it's 10 a.m., which works
Oh,
better
okay.
for me because it means when I'm doing the closing shift at work, I can then finish a whole episode and not have to go to work wondering what happened in the main event.
Right on,
So
yeah.
I'll watch NXT every Thursday morning, and then with um, AEW is like a rare off chance. Which today I watched AEW for the first time in a long time because the one thing I've also noticed is my Twitter goes off on a Thursday morning because of the Wednesday Night Wars, and it's all AEW. I hear nothing about NXT.
It's they've they've really cultivated a great audience that is passionate about the brand because they want to see these guys succeed and create just a better culture of fandom, I think. And I noticed that when we went to All Out, usually when you go to WWE live events, you're sort of in your own little pocket of fandom, or you know, if you're with your friends that you brought, it's just you guys sort of enjoying the show for yourselves. When we were at AEW though for the pay-per-view, everyone was coming together. Everyone was enjoying the fandom together, and it was real. It was bringing everyone closer as a unit. Kind of discover.
All right, so welcome back. We've just had a little. That was a bit of a experience.
Things happen. It's totally cool.
Yeah. So what were you saying just before the internet cut out?
Yeah. So I think AEW's just done a good job of creating like this awesome positive culture of fans coming together just to enjoy wrestling again. I was saying when we went to All Out Chicago versus a WWE live event, when you're at WWE, you're sort of in your own little pocket of fandom. You're not bonding with everyone at the show collectively and coming together to like watch the event. You're doing your own thing. At All Out, I noticed is everyone was coming together and introducing themselves and kind of sharing their stories of how they found out and fell in love with the promotion and which wrestlers they're sort of here for. It was really amazing and very different to see. And it was, I think that's why there's so much conversation online as well as there's all these origin stories coming together of these independent wrestlers that made this amazing thing.
Yeah. Yes. So what if someone wanted to get in the ring to become a wrestler? What would you recommend for them?
It, man, there's so much. One thing is understand the power of social media and get on that train now. You can only focus so much on what's going on locally in your area as far as being a wrestler. So you really need to expand your horizons, build a bigger audience, build some connections so that you can, you know, break the bubble, get out and make a name for yourself. As far as physically preparing yourself, though, I would definitely recommend some sort of sports team or some sort of sport to dive into, whether that's gymnastics or football team or anything of that sort. Just to not only get yourself into shape, but to also show you the discipline it requires to be ready to become an athlete and sort of take on a schedule. There's really that other side of it that a lot of people aren't talking about.
Wow, that's some great advice. So what sport was it for you?
None. I learned the hard way. Small town, growing up, there was, I mean, there were options as far as baseball and things, but nothing hooked my interest as much as wrestling. There wasn't a whole lot of other options outside of those little niche sports. Hockey, of course, Canada, right? But I wasn't a hockey fan either. Gym class was sort of a joke. It was just playing dodgeball for an hour. There was no discipline built into my lifestyle, and that's something I've had to figure out all on my own.
So have you become are you much of a drinker?
That's very much the culture around here. And I mean, I started right. You want to be in with everyone. You kind of want to be all hanging out. There's frequent dances that are used as fundraisers for all sorts of events going on and community groups. So I mean, early on, yeah, I would definitely hit up the bars and those social scenes, but
I was going to say
not
wrestling in bars as well.
yeah, no, it's definitely around me a lot, but I'm not a big heavy drinker really.
Have you got something that when you're on the occasion you do drink, is this a particular drink you go for?
Yes, we were talking about food and everything earlier. I'm not sure what they call it down in Australia, but we call it a Caesar here in Canada. It'd be kind of similar to a Bloody Mary. I don't know if you guys have those even. Yeah.
I've heard of a Bloody Mary.
Okay. So it's a little bit of vodka. We had some clamato juice. It's really salty red juice. We had some Tabasco, some Worcestershire. It's the heat that comes from that drink, along with all the flavor, it definitely whets the appetite.
Oh, that sounds good. So, I don't know. For me, it's either a beer, a Canadian Club.
Oh, nice.
Although I'm different from all my friends, they all drink the Canadian Club dry, where I'm with the cola.
Okay.
But the other one, if you're going to get into the fancy stuff, is known as a backhand panda, which I discovered at our local pub. And
okay.
I can't remember the specific ingredients they put in it up there, but it is expensive. Like a normal beer for us for a big decent sized glass might be $6-7. This backhanded panda for the same glass is about 18.
Oh wow, yeah.
When I first discovered it, it was about 11, and it's just skyrocketed up. But it's got some raspberry liqueur. It's got Red Bull in there. I think there's some. I've seen them put white rum. I think it is. I can't. Paradiso.
Okay.
It's got a few things in there, but man, it is so good. Like it has this really good taste, but one thing it does that you don't notice is after one glass, you can really feel the buzz, and you stand up. And it's like, yep, okay, that hit. Which you need about. It does in one drink what about 5 or 6 beers might do.
Yeah, it's
which explains why it's so expensive.
Right. Yeah, it does the trick a little quicker.
Mm. Anyway, it has been absolutely great talking to you. I've had an absolute blast. So thank you so much for reaching out, and thank you for being my motivation to get back into the game.
Not a problem at all, man. This was a lot of fun. I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface. We could do 2 or 3 of these things down the line and still have more catching up to do.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm definitely keen to have you back on sometime. So best of luck for the future when COVID's over. Best of luck getting back in that ring. Keep defending that championship. Hopefully you get that dream match with Chris Jericho. We need to put those positive vibes out there. Fingers crossed. Spread the word.
Right
Even
on.
if it's as a one-off on AEW Dark or something.
Right.
Like Jericho versus Jay Walker. Battle of Calgary. Or even a triple threat match. Who knows, maybe you might even be teaming with Chris Jericho.
Yeah, it's crazy how the sky's the limit, yeah.
Yeah. But no, best of luck. Hopefully we get that match. Stay safe and look after yourself. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on, mate.
For sure, man. Take care. It's good chatting with you.
Thank you, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this as much as I have. We'll see you all next time on Mining for Mayhem. Bye, everyone.